Sunday, July the 1st. And it's about 10 o'clock in the morning, and it will be warm today. As you can see, there is me. I'm right here. There is my truck right there. And there's my house back there. So I'm in the front yard, so if some traffic goes by, you may hear it. But yesterday is gone. And today there is a new day. And some things are taking place on the earth. And I'm thinking as I, sit here about certain words that you can find in a Bible. Now, just a few words that you find in the Bible are God. You can find God in the Bible. You can find Moses in the Bible. You can find Jesus in the Bible. And you can find various other people in the Bible. But there's only one God in the Bible that said for you to have no other God or gods, before him. And people will debate, what does before him mean? I guess you can just figure it out. I just want to know him and what he wants me to know about him and some other people. But God is the one who created the heavens and the earth. And he did it without assistance. And if you will, and you will do something. Everyone does something. But God, for the last 2,000 years, has been in heaven. And there's some things that he can do from heaven, and he doesn't have to leave. Well, do you know what God can do from heaven without leaving? Yeah, you probably said he can do whatever he wants to. And you are right. But if God wants to leave heaven and come to the earth today, he cannot appear and say, I'm Jesus. Did you know that? Because if God were to appear on the earth today and say, I'm Jesus, You do know what the problem is, don't you? He would be lying. He would absolutely be lying about himself. And God would never lie about himself. And God has never lied to himself. You might as well say God refuses to lie. Yeah, he's got some self-control. God can control himself. Now, there were a few times that it looks like, while God was controlling himself, certain things were happening. And it really was. Because for a time, 400 years. Why would I just say 400 years? Well, it's just a good round number. And 400 years ago was 400 years. And at one point, there was a family of people. There was a great famine. I mean, it had been one of the famines of history, let's just say that. And during that famine, a man was able to obtain everything. Well, how did he do it? This man that obtained everything obtained it because God had planned it. That's how he obtained it. God planned it. Yeah, the boy's name, when he was young, was Joseph. And God gave Joseph a dream. Sure did. And Joseph told that dream to the members of the family. And he had a few brothers, all of them older than he. And they were not impressed with his dream, because they understood that in this dream they would have to bow to their brother. I'm looking forward to the day that I get to bow to my brother. I am. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not, just say it, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be glad when it gets here. But it hasn't gotten here yet. When it gets here, you will know it. Now, you may think, well, now is a good time for you to do it, Bob. Well, I don't think so. So therefore, I'm not. Well, Bob, you will one day. I just told you, I'm looking forward to the day that I can bow to my brother. Until then, and until it's required, I haven't seen my brother. Not the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about, I hope you figured out who I'm talking about. My brother's name is Jesus. he got that name from his father. And his father did not just, just speak directly to his mother and say, baby, we're going to have a son, me and you, and we're going to name him Jesus. That's not the way it happened. It's not the way it happened at all. Jesus was born a little over 2,000 years ago. I feel like I can confidently say that I'm correct. But he was born. His mother gave birth to the baby, my brother, and she named him Jesus. She did. And Jesus, I guess you can say he had a rather large following, and some days the numbers would reach into the thousands. Yeah. Pretty good number of followings. They have some gatherings today, where some thousands come together. But it's a whole lot more people today. And the transportation, is a lot better today than it was back in the day when Jesus was, attracting crowds. But he did it. And he would do and say some astonishing things. You can find out some of the things that Jesus said in one book. I have one out here in the yard with me. I sure do. And I can open this book and I can find some of the things that Jesus said. I really can. You could too, if you wanted to. There are some, everything that you see in this picture, Jesus didn't see it. You can see this picture. And if Jesus is watching this video, he can see this picture. I don't know if he'll watch this video or not. He could. But I'm pretty sure if he doesn't watch it, he'll hear about it. I just feel that confident. Jesus has a lot of things to do. I don't have a lot of things to do. I can sit out here in this breeze under this tree, and this tree is one of 4 or 5 out here, and I don't have to worry about a crowd. Sure don't. Well, Bob, you could probably draw a crowd if you would do some certain things. I'd hate to know it. I took your advice and started doing something to draw a crowd. I really would. I wouldn't like it at all. Nope. I'd rather find out what my brother did. You know, my brother Jesus. Yeah, he died. He sure did. I mean, after the thousands and thousands and thousands of people followed him, I'm talking about all over the place. He wound up in Jerusalem. Where his daddy was, his father. Yeah. In case you weren't aware of it, Jesus' father had a place in Jerusalem. And when he was in that place in Jerusalem, he felt comfortable there because he had another place somewhere else. And it was a very, beautiful place. But Jesus' father was, pretty happy to stay in that house in Jerusalem. And he stayed there long enough to get done what he wanted done from that house. And then he told his son, he said, why don't you tell him about my house here? This beautiful place. God told Jesus to tell them. So he did. If I was learned and, just had all this stuff, popping into my head, and I could quote, from the book, like some can, they'd say turn over here, but I'm not. I don't know where to turn to. But Jesus told them pretty much, you see this beautiful? He said there won't be one stone standing. Not one. This place will come to nothing in a matter of time. And Jesus was right. Yep. His father's house was totally destroyed, just exactly like he said it would be. Yep, that was years ago. If you want to know what they call, the time when that happened, according to, what I hear, it was 70 AD. And I've read and seen some things about, a certain time, CE. I don't even know what CE means. So if somebody wants to help me out there, they can if they see this video. But I am sure that this video, when I did that there, I was seeing the timer to see how much time, I had made making this video. But it's comfortable out here right now with this breeze. I mean, it's not going to be comfortable out here later today because it'll be 100 degrees. And I don't really want to be sitting under this tree when it's 100 degrees. But I want some people to know and understand some things about Jesus, my brother. Jesus and I are brothers. That means we have the same Father. And somebody says, well, you can't be Jesus' brother. Why not? Did Jesus say I can't be his brother? No, he said I could be. Well, Bob, how you gonna be his brother? Just do the will of your Father or our Father in heaven. And it's a kind of an automatic. According to Jesus. That's what he said. He was out there somewhere preaching one day. And a group, evidently it's a pretty good crowd. And Jesus' brothers and sisters, or brothers and sisters, whatever. Mary had other children. Mary was Jesus' mother's name. And somebody said, well, if you're going to be a brother to Jesus, then Mary's got to be your mother. That ain't true. That's something some devil came up with. I'm Jesus' brother, and Mary is not my mother. And I'm happy living right here in Downsville, where there's not a whole lot of traffic. I mean, there is some traffic, but it's not a whole lot of traffic. I don't have to go far to find a lot of traffic, because there are some, traffic spots. If I want to go, I'll just get in my truck right there and, go get in the traffic. But a little bit more about Jesus, my brother. He's really important. I mean, Jesus is really important. He is. He's important because of my Father. My Father has, given him a position. And he's got it. And one time there were, the question was asked to Jesus, by a woman that I think he really liked. I believe she said, "Lord, I want my sons to sit at your, I want one to sit at your right hand and the other at your left." You really ought to read and see the reply that Jesus told that woman. You really should. It's very interesting. Jesus told her, "I cannot do that." Yep. That's what he told her. Jesus told her, "I cannot do that." Jesus knew some things that I don't think some people know today. But they could learn if they would pay attention. Jesus did say, "If you seek, you will find. If you knock, it will be open. If it doesn't seem to come, keep knocking." I don't believe I can find 100 people that can tell me just on the spur of the moment, answer some questions. I really don't. Most of them could answer the questions, but they would give me the wrong answer. Oh, it would be so close. It would be so close to the right answer that it would be scary. I mean, just about like those counterfeit $100 bills. If all you've got is $100 bills, you may think you've got some money. But when you go to the store to purchase something, and you pull that $100 bill out of your pocket, you hand it to them, and they will either, take something and put a mark on it, or they'll take it up and hold it up and put it into the light. And if it's not real, you will have to steal to get what you wanted out of that store, because they won't take the counterfeit. And there are a lot of people around today. They claim to be something that they're not. And when they get examined by the light, the light examines them. And this light, this examination light, is bright. It's the brightest light that there is. Yep. Jesus was a son of God. I am a son of God. Somebody says, we are all sons of God. And God said, they're not. They're not my sons. John ran into some. Jesus ran into them too. It's 2018. I run into them all the time. Sure do. Becomes pretty evident when the light comes on. Yep. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Today is the first day of July. The 4th of July comes a little bit after the 1st. Yep. The house you see right there, that was built in 1962. My daddy married Mama in 1946. In 1946, my daddy married my mama. And in 1962, they built that house. And I finished off a few years in it. I graduated from high school. I got married and built me a little house right there. I don't own that house anymore, but I do own my father's house. If anybody's ever in town and they see this truck, that probably means I'm at home. And you can visit me at my father's house. If my wife is there, the door will be locked. I think the doorbell works. But I have said enough here this morning to make this video clear. God is building. And what he builds, I bet you can't tear it down. I bet you can't. Some of God's children are going to do some things in the very near future. Yep. Some things are going to be fixed up. And the devil is not going to be able to hinder them at all. It's going to be a good day. And I just got a text. So I'll stop right there and read a text. Have a wonderful day. There will be more days. The sun will set. I guarantee. Amen.